gentlemen, please welcome Anthony Burbridge and the Unity Band.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity. You're welcome to have a seat. We're going to do a song to get you in the zone. Hello to everybody at home. This is Welcome Home. If you'd recognize my voice, 'cause I've been whispering your name again and again. I've been imagining this day, and I'll never be the same. Welcome home. Welcome home. It's so good to see your face. Welcome home. We dance and sometimes only fall. We sing even when there are no words. And I hope love lifts you up again and again. If you ever lose your way, let me be the first to say, welcome home. Welcome home. It's so good to see your face. Welcome home. Come inside from the cold and rest your weary soul. You belong, you are loved, you are wanted, you're not alone. I've missed you so. Welcome home. Welcome home. Without you here, it's not the same. I've been waiting here. Welcome home. Welcome home. Without you here, it's not the same. I've been waiting here. By the way, that song, that's written by a lady named Joy Williams. Joy Williams, you can look it up online, and if you want to hear it again. I haven't recorded it, but she has. All right, everybody, let's stand up. Let's do a couple of songs together, starting with I Open Up and Receive. I open up and receive. I open up and receive. I open up and receive all the love that life can give. I open up and receive. I open up and receive. I open up and receive all the wealth that life can give. I open up and receive. I open up and receive. I open up and receive all the help that life can give. I open up and receive. I open up and
and receive. I open up and receive all the peace that life can give. I open up and receive. Open up and receive.
Open up and receive.
Open up and receive.
Open up and receive
All the love that life can give.
I
Open up and receive. I open up and receive. I open up and receive all the love that life can give. All the love that life can give. All the love that life can give.
Ray, is my guitar, can you guys hear my guitar out there? I can't hear it. Oh, you can? Can I get a little more guitar in this little box here, Ray? By the way, were those harmonies beautiful? Thank you to Vivian and Patty and Doug. We didn't even rehearse that. They just kind of did it. Okay, over to Vivian. Vivian's going to lead us in the next one. Get ready to shake your money maker and
Shake your money maker. I like that. Although I'm not sure what that means exactly. I guess it can mean anything I want it to. All right. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Oh, I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into a shake your money maker, yeah. 'Cause I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Oh, I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Oh, I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Here we go. That's the way. I like it. That's the way. I like it. Oh, 'cause I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Oh, I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Come on, come on, come on, come on, 'cause I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Oh, I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Gonna bring it on down now, 'cause I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Here we go, one more time. That's the way, I like it. That's the way, I like it. Woo! Good singing, everybody.
All right, are you ready for the rest of the day? That was a fabulous way to get us going. Unity Band, thank you so much. Well, here we are on a beautiful Sunday in February, day before Valentine's Day, celebrating love in all of its forms. My name is Alara Payton, and I'm delighted to be the the Sunday Experience Guide for you today as we co-create this experience. And whether you're in the room or you are watching online today or another time, you are contributing your energy, your unique soul signature to this gathering. So thank you so much for all the ways that you're all contributing simply by being here, and for all of those who co-created this church in a box. We are what is called a church in a box. Everything has to be set up and taken down each week. So thank you to everyone for all the ways that you are contributing. And again, by being here, you give us someone to set the space up for, so thank you for that. All right. Here we are at a time of affirmative prayer, a time of affirming our true divine nature. So I invite you, if it's comfortable, to close your eyes or softly focus on an object somewhere in the room. And come home to your own sacred heart, the sacred altar of your heart center. Allowing the breath and your heartbeat to be a focus point. As we affirm, I am. I am a living expression of the one power and one presence. My very nature is of this divine presence. I am a living expression of Source, and I claim my true powers of being. I am open and receptive to every gift offered to me today through the spoken word, through the music, through conversations. I am here. I am now. I am that I am. And so it is. And here's our statement of being that we say each week. And here we are, as I mentioned, this is the day before Valentine's Day, where there's a global focus on the power of love. So why do we show up? And why are you online? The spiritual leadership and the board of directors has chosen this as a foundation of why we gather. So if you've said this, like I have for many, many years, I invite you to say it in, as though you've, what do they call it? Beginner's mind. And let's affirm together this statement of being. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And today's daily word is being read by Tina Thressel, who is on our board of directors, and she gave me a little tidbit today. Today is the 75th birthday anniversary of the daily word. So Tina's going to offer us the daily word.
Thank you, Alara. Today's daily word is based on a passage from Leviticus 19:18. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. And hopefully you do love yourself a lot so that loving your neighbor as yourself means something. In periods of peaceful contemplation, I immerse myself in the unconditional love that joins the human family together in God. As the awareness of divine love fills my mind and heart, it dissolves all memories of difficulties and feelings of discord. Centered in divine love, I deeply feel my oneness with God and with all people. I now see the people in my life anew, with beginner's mind. Beholding the divinity of each dear one I meet, my heart overflows with empathy as I respond to their troubles and celebrate their triumphs. I am patient. I listen with intention. I recognize their divinity as I recognize my own. I welcome the flow of divine love as it blesses me, as well as those with whom I am sharing my compassion.
Thank you, Tina. As most of you likely know, Unity is part of a worldwide movement, and we here at Unity of Calgary have adopted the worldwide vision. I invite you to affirm with me this vision. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And as a community, we bring this forth through the mission that was developed by our community a few years ago. I invite you to affirm with me. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. And so here we are co-creating this together. Thank you for bringing your soul signature to this vision and mission. And the upcoming events at Unity, next week we have Janice Butler, who is a part of our community and does this role as the Sunday experience guide and is going to speak on what is true compassion. And she'll lead us through an exploration of how beholding Christ in ourselves and others lends itself to creating true compassion in our hearts and minds. And after service today, we have our potluck, our monthly potluck. And if you're like me and you forgot that it was potluck, please do stay. There always seems to be enough food. And we look forward to the time when everybody who is watching us each week in the virtual land, when it's right and perfect for you to come and share in a time of potluck. We're looking forward to that. And after the potluck, we have new membership orientation, but it's not just for new members. It's for anyone who has questions. Maybe you've been a member for a while and you have some questions that haven't got answered yet. Or maybe you're really new to Unity and you're not looking to become a member. You just want to know, well, what do they say at the membership meetings? Not membership orientation. What will I be hearing? So please, everyone is welcome for that. And next week we have, after the service, or after the Sunday, well, I was going to say after the Sunday experience, but it's part of the Sunday experience, we're going to have the book study on the law of divine compassion up to chapters 6. So do we still have, are we selling the books here, Bob, or people have to order it online or get it through? Well, if you think you can still get that book, and if you're a fast reader, you could catch up and then join the group next week. And then on February 27th, we have our Sunday movie matinee at 2:30. The movie has not made itself known to the leadership yet, but it's on its way. It'll be announced as soon as they know what movie they're going to be showing. And there are so many ways that you can stay connected. The Facebook and the YouTube and the, did you know that we actually have a Unity of Calgary community group on Facebook that you can converse with people? So if you haven't checked that out, I invite you to do that. And we'd love to have you sign up for the weekly email. There is so much in that email. Thank you, Danelle, for everything she's putting in. If you haven't checked it out lately, she has the monthly meditation audios from Unity Village, and there's so much. It's really a wealth of resources that you can tap into for your spiritual support. I do invite you to check that out, checking out the details. And today, we have a team that is co-creating, a duo, a divine duo that's co-creating our talk and music experience. Doug Warren is our musical guest, and Katie Grinham is our speaker. And they are focusing on the theme of the healing power of compassion. Doug's been a member of our community since about 2012, I believe, and he was on the board. He's part of the production team now. You can see him there doing his productioning, and he's part of the band. And Katie has been on leadership roles for 9 years at Unity of Calgary. She's has been on the spiritual leadership team and the board of directors, and she continues to serve our community as a speaker, as one of the Sunday experience guides, and she assists in the beautification of this space. And so I'm going to pass it over, and they're going to interweave with music and spoken word and meditation, and please help me welcome Doug Warren and Katie Grinham.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This is going to be, I think, a very powerful morning. It's related to compassion, and along that theme, some time ago, I wrote a song for Katie after she had relayed to me some childhood trauma that she had experienced. And I wrote the song to her inner child. It's called Dear Little Katie. And before I start, I would really like to acknowledge the courage that Katie is showing in allowing this to be part of today's talk and today's celebration, as it is intensely personal, and it shows a lot of courage and a lot of trust in our community that this will be accepted in the way in which it was originally given. So again, dear little Katie. My dear little Katie, I have come to know you. Your sparkling laughter and your playful smile. Here in the garden, you sing in the sunlight, a paradise that is shining with your love. By some miracle of Spirit's sacred grace, you found some shelter from the storm. Your delicate dancing butterfly wings have carried you here through a hurricane. My dear little Katie, I have come to see you. Innocent inner child in my lady's eyes. I'd like to say to you that you are a wonder, and you're safe within the caring arms of love. By some miracle of Spirit's sacred grace, you found some shelter from the storms. Your delicate dancing butterfly wings have carried you here through a hurricane. Thank you.
Am I on, Ray? All right, I'm on. Yes, so, as Doug said, he wrote this beautiful song for me a couple of years ago. And I thought it was too beautiful to not be shared. But I just felt so vulnerable when that first was written that I just thought I couldn't share it, right? And it was, but I realized that that was part of what I need to do to continue in my own healing. And I think many of us can relate to this, that when we have experiences that are traumatic or challenging or have us feel very raw, we just don't want to show that much out there, right? And just wanting to kind of pull back in and, hide. Let's go with the big word, hide. And that's what I did. And when I was sharing with him these remembrance, because what happened is the closer we began to get, the more I began to have body memories and things of times of sexual abuse in my childhood, and it became more and more vulnerable to have somebody be so close, and the desire to run was so great. I just wanted to hide. I wanted to run, and Doug knew that, and he went upstairs, and instead of pushing me or trying to fix me, he wrote that song. And I want to use it as an example of what self-compassion looks like. What compassion looks like, right? Because there were many qualities in that, if you notice, in the sense that there was a deep seeing, right? He took the time to be still and to really connect with what he saw happening for me. And he listened inside to what it brought up in him. So he didn't make a lot of assumptions about what I needed or what should happen or how to fix it or whatever. But what he did do was to honor my experience, right? And, you know, when there are situations where the hurt is so big, when we have a loss, when we lose someone that is so dear to us, and we think, how do we go on? Or we have a disappointment that just takes it right to the core where you feel like, oh, whew. You know, there aren't a lot of words that someone else could say. There's not a lot that somebody else can do. Haven't we all felt that? And the helplessness that we feel as other people to comfort and care for our people that are hurting, it's not easy. And so I wanted to talk a bit about, you know, how can we do that? What is a way that we can be present? And that's really what it is, right? Is to be so present with the other person's experience. Just be there, listening deeply, and kind of riding the wave of our own uncomfortableness, right? Because that's what it brings up, isn't it? We feel our own loss, our own fear, our own sadness, and being willing to just be in it and be that listening, deep, profound presence. Because I think that's when Spirit works through us. There was no doubt to me that Spirit was working through Doug. He wrote that song very quickly. It just flowed through him. And when we're called to be a compassionate ear or presence for someone else, and sometimes, I don't know about you, but I've hesitated sometimes to go up to somebody because I think, well, what am I going to say? You know, I don't know what to do. But I'm learning that if we hold the space, that Spirit will come through us. That's really, we just need to be the presence. And Spirit will flow through us and speak to that in that way. So that kind of compassion is very powerful. But if you notice, part of this dynamic was also about self-compassion. Because when we have experiences, it can be very difficult for us to have space for our own feelings, can't it? Like, I should get over this. It's not that big. Or, you know, okay, I've been sad for a while, that's enough. Or, you know, all these judgments that we make about ourselves, about how we should be and what we should do. And sometimes we don't even think we deserve any compassion, period, right? It's like, why is somebody being kind to me? And weirdly enough, even though, and of course, because you're writing a talk about compassion, or supposed to be, but instead I was sick. I was laying around with kind of a stomach flu, and what was really interesting and challenging about this was such an old pattern came up for me about a lack of compassion. And it was kind of like, oh man, am I sick? You know, I don't have time for this. How many people have said that, right? I don't have time to be sick. I got other things to do. And I was like, no, this is not good timing, right? Like, as if that matters. And, you know, and then I was like, oh, and it was kind of like this digestion. And I'm a therapist myself, right? And sometimes when our esophagus is not lined up to our stomach, you know, you can get heartburn. And I thought, gosh, you know, I haven't been sitting properly at my table. That's the problem. And, you know, I started analyzing, you know, the shortcomings of why I was sick, right? And then because I had a long list of how I had created it myself, how much compassion did I have for this, right? You should have got a new table a long time ago. Why are you procrastinating on this? And blah, blah, blah. And then, you already had an abscessed tooth earlier. And then, blah, 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 on and on. And so then poor Doug, he's living with this, as I'm giving myself a hard time. And he's trying to be compassionate. Can I make you some soup? I don't know. It was like living with a little bobcat, right? I was like, it's laid down, and I have to get laid down again, and it was, and I didn't realize how much self-chatter there was, right? Of just picking at myself about this. And I thought, as I began to sort of get a bit better, I could see this was a long pattern, a long route of being unkind to myself, of being mean, of having these expectations. Like in my family, it wasn't okay to be sick, apparently, right? And so, but, I'm 62 years of age. These people have already left. They're already having a great time up in other places, and I'm still treating myself the same. And it was really insightful to look at what does it take to shift that inner dialogue, that inner voice that we have. And Bob talks a lot about that inner voice and that compassion. And it's different for all of us, is it not? Like some things, I would say, let's say you're pretty good. Oh, I don't get upset with myself when I'm sick. I can't relate to that. But, what about when you're running late or you're unorganized or you didn't call someone or you didn't do, what is yours, right? We all have that place where we're just not very kind or fair or compassionate to ourselves. And if you look at really where that piece of that, it's about self-judgment, isn't it? And we have this, what I came to realize for myself is this kind of, what would you say, like a list or a way of being that you need to be on the inside, right? And if you're not being that, then, right, out comes the bobcat, right? And it's like taking a small round out of you again. And so I wanted to think, bring that to mind and realize that voice might not be yours anymore, right? And could we let that go? Could we identify it and go, no, that's a behavior I learned from my father. And quite frankly, so did my two sisters. And I actually realized in doing a little bit of work with Susan, very good coach, by the way, this week, that root went deep in the sense of learning how to speak that kind of harsh judgment. I remember my father saying one time when I was upset about something, he said, well, are you going to cry about it? Oh, that was good. But in a way, I was doing the same to myself. So I think, what's the process? First of all, identifying when we are not being fair or kind or judgmental to ourselves, and identifying that voice. Whose voice is that? Perhaps you'll know whose voice it is, and you can release it and bless it and let it go, and choose something else for yourself. And could we begin to have some situations where we admit, this is hard for me? Like, for example, yesterday when Doug and I were sitting, and he had one song for this morning, he needed a second song, and I could just feel this coming up, right? I was like, oh, I know another song that you could do, and I knew he was only do it if I gave him, permission to do that. And I was uncomfortable. And, it was the part that didn't want to feel broken, right? Don't want to feel raw or vulnerable. And yet, really, isn't that often what endears us to another? But it's It's not the way we're wired up, right? So one of the things is to have kindness. First of all, identify the voice, and then tell the truth. You know, this is hard. This is hard for me. Whether it should be or not, doesn't matter. This is hard for me. And I feel the tendency to run or hide or withdraw. I don't want to talk to anybody, anything, whatever it is your pattern is. And have some compassion for that. And then begin to work. How can I work with that, right? And there are a lot of great tools that we can work with. And in the shamanic world, they talk about soul loss. And at first I didn't understand what they meant by soul loss, because I thought, well, how can you have soul loss? You only got one soul. That can't be good, right? I was like, you're done. And as I've come to understand, what that means is when a part of you that has become wounded, hurt, betrayed, whatever, it literally just breaks apart. The circumstance becomes intolerable to the personality, right? It can't deal with this. It was too much hurt, too much pain, too much confusion, betrayal, and it just breaks away. Now that might sound kind of strange, but in a way it isn't when we talk about it splitting off. But don't we often feel that way where we say we feel kind of splintered inside? You know, this part of me, don't we say things like that? This part of me feels sad. This part of me feels afraid. And so we are kind of scattered. It's like, you know, we have satellites. Here's the main thing. And then we have like these satellites that are floating around. And occasionally they come in wounded and then they go back out and they stir us up. And the belief is that as we heal, those parts come back and integrate, right? That we can own them again, and we can have compassion for that part of ourselves. And when I was speaking about this with clients about that, they were saying, well, I don't know if I relate to that, but I think we do in our own way, in our own language. So for example, have you not had the experience when something happens and you said, and you're later talking about it, and you say, I just felt myself shut down, right? I felt myself shut down. I just felt weak, I felt tired, disconnected, lost. You know, we have this wording. There's a sense that something happened, right? Something broke, something disconnected in our experience. So how do we heal that? And as I say, the shamans of North America and South America, though they each do it differently, have ways of journeying and bringing that part back to you and ceremonially, literally blowing it back into the top of your head, bringing it back into you. And to me, when Doug wrote that song, I think that's what he did for me. He brought that ceremonial, that part to say, I see you. And I love you just the way you are. So can we begin to do this for ourselves? You know? And there's some great tools to do that. How many people here are familiar with emotional freedom technique? Right. And in that, there's a statement that says, even though, and then you put the problem in. So even though I'm sick again, or not keeping up, or whatever it is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, right? And sometimes, depending on what the issue is, it can be really hard to even say that sentence, can't it? Like when you've done something that you are on your case for, and you're supposed to deeply and completely love and accept yourself for that, it's like, oh. You know, and sometimes we have to back off from that a little bit and say, you know, well, I'm open to, you know, caring and accepting myself, right? Like deeply and completely seems like I'm not there. And that's one of the ways that we can use that. And there's other people's work as well. I've been doing some work with Juliet Haynes, and that Susan Cullen also does, called The Awakening of the Divine Feminine. And that's when we sit with our wounded parts. not to analyze them, not to change them, but to just be in the flow and that feeling. And anyone who does healing work knows that sometimes that's all you can do for another and for yourself. So I invite you to think about self-compassion as a journey. That it's not something that you suddenly decide, okay, I can do this, I'm going to do this. You can certainly make that declaration, but that it is a journey of learning how to balance out the opposite, which I would call self-judgment, and have that love and compassion for yourself and for others, knowing that neither of them involve fixing. Right? It's just being that present place. And when I was thinking about this talk, there were a couple of songs that also came to mind for me. And how many of you are familiar with Karen Drucker? Yeah. And she wrote a beautiful song called I Will Be Gentle with Myself. People know that one? And if you haven't heard it, I invite you to go on. And actually, there's a beautiful little video that she has on YouTube about I will be gentle with myself. And sometimes when I get in the car and I'm driving somewhere and I'm running late or I can feel I'm on my case. I just pop that in. I'm like, I will be gentle to myself. You know what I'm singing down Deerfoot. Because I just need to interrupt the pattern, right? We need to interrupt that pattern of self-destruction and that self-criticism. And actually, it also reminded me, when I was in high school, there was this song that I would sing when I was struggling, which was one of the ways that I would comfort myself. And I thought actually, years ago, I thought it was a Karen Carpenter song. And I tried to find it, and I couldn't find it. And then Spirit helped me and realized actually just recently, it was a Helen Reddy song. And it was called Best Friend. And it was actually in the movie Airport. And the words, interesting enough, I left in the car, other than the part that I used to sing. So apparently, you don't need to know the original words. You need to know the adaptation that I would say to myself to cope, right? And so, we all have ups and downs, and certainly as, going through puberty, there are times when we're struggling and feeling alone. And so the words I had sang, the words were, and I am the best friend to myself. I pick me up whenever I feel low. And I make myself as happy as a best friend can. Apparently, that's what it was. But I didn't think I had a best friend. So at that time, I went, and I make myself as happy as I possibly can. And I love myself. No, and I love me more than anybody can. Right? So it was, and I love me more than anybody can. And that's why I am the best friend to myself. I pick me up whenever I am low. And I make myself as happy as I possibly can. And I love myself more than anyone can. So I invite you to sing to yourself, whatever it sounds like, and to share in that. And now Doug has another beautiful song that he just wrote in the last week or two about compassion. So please welcome the beautiful sounds of Doug Warren.
I got to follow that. Yeah. So Patty's going to accompany me on this song with some harmonies. This song is called Breathe, Feel, Love. And it was inspired by talking with someone who I came to realize was struggling with depression, with periodic depression. And at times I would speak with this person, and it just seemed like there was something behind the conversation. You know, there was a deeper just a deeper sense that they were going through something that wasn't part of the conversation that we were having. There was something behind the scenes. So it inspired me to write this song called Breathe, Feel, Love, which was finished, well, I guess about 8 minutes ago. So, oh, this is a really weird one. This is an obscure, weird off chord. It's kind of an off chord of a D, but it does some strange things. With a hint of sadness, as I recall the sound of your voice, a deeper meaning was conveyed than the words that you chose. Standing there so openly, engaged in day to day, standing there right next to me, you seem so far away, you seemed all alone. Softly fragile, as I recall the look within your eyes, as silent shadows played across the light behind your smile, standing there so openly, engaged in day to day, standing there right next to me, you seem so far away, you seemed all alone. Well, you're not alone. If you want to connect with hearts that care, just breathe. Feel love. If you want to connect with hearts that care, just breathe. Feel Let me show you there is warmth within the world that we share. For we are all one, divinely made from essence so pure, standing there so openly, engaged in day to day, standing there right next to me. You seem so far away, you seem all alone. Well, you're not alone. If you want to connect with hearts that care, just breathe. Connect with hearts that care, just breathe. Feel love. If you want to connect with hearts that care, just breathe. Feel
Woo!
Thank you.
Wasn't that beautiful? Whew, goosebumpy, goosebumpy. So what we'd like to do now is actually go into meditation. And it seemed like what better song to take us in. So Doug's going to just get set up there again. And rather than doing our meditation the way we have previously done it, Doug's going to sing that refrain about connecting and breathing and moving in, and then I'll take you into the meditation. So I invite you to just get comfortable, to close your eyes, to settle in.
If you want to connect with hearts that care,
Just as Doug's words say, let us begin by breathing. Breathing deeply in and slowly out. And allowing yourself to just sink down into your chair. and become present. Noticing your feet on the ground. And imagine for a moment that they could begin to sink through the floor and down, down into Mother Earth. Oh, how she's always there for us. Just feel whatever's there for you. Breathing and feeling. Letting it flow down your body and into the earth. And letting any thoughts about it go with it. What if right now, in this moment, it's all right to be exactly as you are? That here you can just breathe and be. And notice that the thoughts will come and go. It's all right. Just let it be like the breeze. And begin then to imagine that you could draw all the strength and the nurturing of the earth up your own legs. What if our legs are like roots that keep us connected, and that we can draw up nurturance right to the very base of our pelvis and kind of anchor us in? What a feeling. We are not alone. We are connected. We're connected to the earth. We're connected to each other. We're connected to that which flows through us, that created us. And follow it right up to the heart. And as you tune in this morning, what part of you could use some love? Some kindness, some understanding. What if you could be that understanding presence for yourself? I'm struggling these days. It's not always easy for me. There's times I'm doing really well. And I'm so appreciative of the courage I have to live with all the uncertainty we have in our world these days. What is it that you could be appreciative and kind to yourself about? Just take a moment to connect with that. And breathe and feel and love. And then bring your awareness to above your head. And imagine, if you will, a brilliant white healing light. Knowing that this light is always there. It's always around us, within us, and every living thing. And let's visualize, let's bring that healing light in the top of our heads, like the warmth of the sun. Let it come down over our head, gently around the shoulders, and wrap around to the heart. Feel how kind and soft and warm and soothing that can be. And know that that is something you can do at any moment and any time. feel the love and the light that created you, blessing you, holding you. For you are held in the arms of love. Each and every one of us are. And our essence is of love. We know this to be so. We breathe this in and resting into it with gentleness, with self-compassion and understanding. And as that happens, know that the more compassion and love we have for ourselves, the greater love we radiate to the world. Kind of the great irony, isn't it? And once again, let's hear the words as Doug sings to us, moving into that place of breath and compassion.
If you want to connect with hearts that care, if you want to connect with hearts that care, just if you want to connect with hearts that care, just if you want to connect with hearts that care, just if you want to connect with hearts that care, just Thank you.
Boy. Now, this is quite the Sunday experience. One of the many, many examples of shared spiritual awakening. Thank you so much, Katie and Doug, for sharing your authentic vulnerability. Brene Brown is using that term, and that was just such a heartfelt experience of that. And so whatever the woundedness that any of us have had, either similar to Katie's or in our own way. May you take the wisdom gifts that speak to your heart and your mind, your body and soul, and use that. And I did forget in my introduction to mention that Katie is a registered massage therapist, and she specializes in intuitive cranial sacral therapy. And I have experienced the power of that healing catalyst that you are, Katie. And I do sense how your willingness, as with all of us, our willingness to be truthful with ourselves, vulnerable with ourselves, contributes so deeply and wondrously to your abilities as a healing catalyst. As Doug, with your willingness to be authentic with yourself, comes forth in your music, and as we know from all the other brilliant songwriters that we have in our community. So thank you ever so much. And so this is a time where we enter into the energy of conscious giving. And we celebrate all the ways that everyone contributes their time, their talents, and their treasures as we create this space where we, do pay rent and we have other expenses. And so thank you for those, when you feel called to give a monetary donation. We are deeply appreciative of you sharing of your monetary blessings. And we believe this community is a blessing to those that attend in person, those who are viewing us online in Calgary and around the world. And so we say thank you. And while we're singing our offering song, you can place, if you have a physical offering that you're offering today, you can put it in the heart baskets at the back. Many of us are making online donations these days through an e-transfer to donate@unityofcalgary.org. And you can also make a donation online at unityofcalgary.org and by check, by sending it to the address of Willow, what is it called? Willow Ridge Community Association. And so I invite you to stand and deeply feel into the words of this song that Anthony wrote some years ago, Give with an Open Heart.
I'm gonna give with an open heart. I'm gonna give with an open heart. I'm grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for my life. And I trust that a higher power will always be there to provide. That's why I give with an open heart. Yeah, that's why I give with an open heart. Well, I place my faith in the Spirit, and I welcome each and every day. When I let go of all my troubles and worries, new abundance always comes my way. And that's why I give with an open heart. That's why I give with an open heart. Oh, I'm gonna give with an open heart. Oh, I'm gonna give with an open heart.
Good morning, and hasn't it been a morning? You know, the first time I came into Unity, the speaker was Katie, and she's always had a special place in my heart. Thank you. Let us bless our offering. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you.
And you can be, I think you can be seated if you wish, or stand for the blessing. And so if your inner child was saying, yeah, that's me, oh yeah, that's me, oh yeah, that's me today, we invite you to say this blessing for the children, not just the children in your life. We don't have any embodied children in the room today, but those that are a part of our lives and your own precious inner child. Together we bless and say, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And let's take that blessing into a quiet moment now as we bring our awareness to anything that we want to surrender into the power of prayer, knowing that as we turn our concerns over to Source, Source opens the way for abundant blessings to unfold. So I invite you to take a moment now. And we also hold in prayer, Unity in Motion, Reverend Pat Ball's ministry, and Unity of Edmonton. And we see them having all of the resources in all ways to continue bringing forth this message into our world. And if you have not yet put a prayer request into the prayer box, I will be taking those prayers and distributing them to the prayer team and sending them to Silent Unity to be held in prayer for 30 days. And of course, most of you know that you can submit a prayer to prayer@unityofcalgary.org, and I collect those names as well. All righty, wonderful. And so let's affirm our prayer of protection out loud together. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am the love. The power that is God protects me. I am the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well, and so it is. Amen. All righty, well, I like this song choice that you made, Anthony, for us to stand and sing, I Return to Love.
Let's say a quick hello to our friends at home, Flo, Wayne, Susan, Chris, Carrie, Adele, Lorraine, Claude, and Deborah. Let's all welcome them at home. And can we say thank you to the rest of the band, to Chad, Gavin, Bob, and Ray's over there in center. And wasn't that awesome how they just jumped in there? And one more thank you to Doug for those beautiful songs. All right, let's return to love. Whenever I am burdened by the pressures of this world, I return to love. Whenever I am lost, my soul cannot be hurt, I return to love. I return to love. I return to love. Every worry disappears. I return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because I return Whenever I am prone to judge the path that I'm on, I return to love. Whenever I am torn between what's coming and what's gone, I return to love. I return to love. Oh, I return to love. Every worry disappears when I return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear, all because I return myself to love. Oh, love, love, love is the only cure we're speaking of. Oh, yes, love, love, love takes us deep within, helps us rise above. Oh, yes, love, love, love. We return ourselves to love. Oh, we return to love, and every worry disappears when we return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear, all because we return ourselves to love. All because we return ourselves to love. All because we return ourselves to love.
And all you lovely beings, if you'd like to create a circle of love as we sing Let There Be Peace, and we will send a wave. You know, if you choose, you can stay in the center in your chairs, but if you want to go out, and let's send a wave of love and peace out into our world, shall we?
1, 2, 3. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. Take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Woo! And so as we continue to be love and peace and compassion, actively cultivating the energy of compassion in our lives, we make a difference. Have a wonderful week making a difference in your world. And for those of you in person, if you would we'd love to have you stay around for the potluck and the membership information and orientation. Have a wonderful week.
Whenever I am burdened by the pressures of this world, I return to love. Whenever I am lost, my soul cannot be heard, I return to love. I return to love. I return disappears. When I return to love, oh, everything becomes so clear. All because I return myself to love. Whenever I am prone to judge the path that I'm on, I return to love. Whenever I am torn between what's coming and what's gone, I return to love. I return to love. Oh, I return to love. Every worry disappears when I return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because I return myself to love. Oh, love, love, love is the only cure we're speaking of. Oh, yes, love, love, love takes us deep within, helps us rise above. Oh, yes, love, love, love. We return ourselves to love. We return to love, and every worry disappears when we return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because we return ourselves to love. All because we return ourselves to love. All because we return